Hello comic fans, here's Earl Grey continuing my countdown in terms of my favorite comics, graphic novels, collected editions from the last year, 2022. At a certain place in that year, almost each and every comic tuber seemed to have suddenly the Simpsons bug, even as distinguished personnel like For the Love of Comics showed us this slightly tasteless yet strangely beautiful object here, and so I had to have my greedy fingers on this Treehouse of Horror collected edition. Treehouse of Horror are issues that are anthologies, world stories maybe, with the Simpsons characters. So it's possible that they can be killed off one by one, and you have a lot of different comic artists, cartoonists that you wouldn't expect in the Simpsons universe. Like, for instance, on this double page here. Take a guess. I guess it's pretty obvious. This is Jeff Darrow having a feast here with all these Simpsons characters. And yeah, this, I won't lie to you, not each and every story here is a surefire hit for me, but a lot of fun stuff here, really entertaining stuff. And on top of it, what really makes this interesting are all the different artists involved here, with very unusual, part-wise very unusual takes on horror movie tropes that are here Simpsonized in a way. And this was at Powell, if I'm not mistaken. And so this is really, and Dan Brereton here. So you have actually cartoonists whose style is not really usually thought of to be the fitting for or good match for The Simpsons, but it works. I don't know if I really need the next volumes here, but this one was really a fun one. On rank 39 we have something completely different, and I guess this sentence, no to something completely different, won't be the last time that you will hear this in my list here of my favorite comics. But really, this is something totally different. Stone Blue Sky by the American cartoonist Aidan Koch. It's a tale about tea, about drinking tea, about ecological problems of about what we humans do to Earth, but in a very elusive, poetic way. I think of her style a bit like similar to maybe Dashaw's. A simple yet abstract, thought-provoking little piece here, and I liked it. It's for sure not for everyone. Was printed by the very small publisher Sporen in Belgium. So. On rank 38, we have, again, and indeed, something totally different. Bang Bang, written by Carlos Trillo and drawn in this very remarkable style by Jordi Bernet. And yeah, I mean, this is hardly a story. If you like Torpedo, drawn by Bernet, this is more or less the hardcore version of that, and so it's great fun. I won't lie, but it's it's a porn comic, basically, and so you can't expect more or less of this. And I like, really, Jordi Berné's style is just amazing, and he can draw the telephone book for me, if you will. But it doesn't hurt when there are some beautiful women involved. But don't expect too much of the story. The draw here is really the art. So, and then something different. Spirou and Fantasio by Tom et Jean-Ry. I mean, this is the collected edition number 15. And this is long past André Franquin basically established these characters here as mainstays in European comics. But Tom et Jean-Ry are two comic creators who really left their mark here in the Spirou-verse. Wonderful adventure comics for not only kids, but young and old. Wonderful stuff. And Spirou and Fantasio, if you're a bit interested in European comics, you should check out at least one Spirou album once in a while. On 36, we have a manga, or actually 2 books worth of manga for you. Or, in fact, the 3rd volume is already out as well. Orochi by Kazuo Umes. I liked both of these books here, but in particular the 1st volume, about this immortal character, this girl here. It's a bit like Jinjuichu, like you see here. It's well drawn. She is an immortal character, very detached from humanity, yet curious about humanity. She sneaks into the lives of the humans and tries to help them. But what made this 1st volume so great was that she somehow, even without knowing, she was more often than not the linchpin for horrific stuff that happened in this book here. But in the 2nd volume, you will get a slightly altered view on her doings and her motivations, maybe. Overall, it's a nice read. It's not too deep stuff, not by any means, but well-drawn and entertaining horror manga. On 35, we have Newburn drawn by Sean Phillips' son, Jacob Phillips, written by Chip Zdarsky. The art style and the whole crime noir angle, of course, is very similar to Sean Phillips' style. The art of Jacob Phillips is sometimes a bit clunkier, not as polished as Sean Phillips' art usually is. But the interesting thing here is the story about this in-between guy, Eastern Newburn, who negotiates between the families, between the different mobs and the Yakuza in New York. He works for them, and as some kind of independent force. He cleans up crime scenes for them if it is necessary, just to keep the peace between the families. So he is quite an important guy, probably even more important than the police, which is in a way very depressing. But if you could think that this has some relation to reality. But foremost, it's just good, pulpy entertainment, highly enjoyable, very gripping in parts, and an interesting pacing because, for the most part, each of these comic books has a self-concluded chapter. Towards the end, it's a bit differently. The end is a 3-parter, which was pretty good as well. So now to 34 and a bit of European comic goodness. And what a nice tome here. You see it shimmer and shine. Georges Besse, he did a similar book about Dracula, which I showcased you in an older video, of course. And this is the accompanying piece here, Frankenstein. And similar, with a very similar build. And of course, you know the story about Frankenstein, even though this pretty detailed style here told me new parts of the Frankenstein mythos here. And of course, it's just the artwork here is really an experience of its own, like it was with the Dracula one. Georges Besse really fires here on all cylinders. And if you love to read old horror stories in new ways or different ways, then this book here is certainly something for you. Talking about old stories in new comics, this is another good example here. André Thémon's Eden. This is just volume 1 and it's a slim hardcover. What a wonderful cover this here already is. It takes place in Arthur Conan Doyle's Forgotten World universe, but now we have we are 2 generations further, and we have these hippie grandchild of the characters in the Forgotten World, and they go to this place where the dinosaurs roam. A bit free love here is involved as well, and please don't expect any kind of deepness. This is not a deep story. This is pop art entertainment at its best, fast-paced, doesn't take itself very seriously. It's pop art. Case closed. And was my rank 33. About 32, I don't have to tell you too much because I already made a whole video about this series here, Sarah Lone, by Arnoux and Moranco. I cheated here a bit because these hardcovers are pretty some years old by now, even though I bought this stack here just this year. But I included it here nevertheless because of the new publication by Sumerian in America. I already told you what I think about the idea to publish comics, highly detailed stories in a small comic book format. Not a good idea, but the story is really well worth it, well worth your try. On rank 31, and the last book for today is Norse Mythology, or as the German title goes, Nordische Mythen und Sagen. This is the version by Splitter. The English original is, of course, by Dark Horse. Here I made an exception. I have the other Neil Gaiman library books in English, but here I thought it would be maybe better to have a German translation because these Norse myths are really strange tales, or maybe you can even call it bad storytelling, because they jump so strange around with their subject, and there are events and strange fantasy is there at work in the best sense, like here, for instance, the first story about the invention of honey beer, Matt. But yeah, when I read it in German, I at least know, okay, that's really the stuff that happens here in the story. Basically, I think of these stories as, yeah, old superhero tales. They're as goofy and weird and whacked out as the best superhero tales, I guess, that you can read today. I actually don't know too much about superhero comics, but these stories here, I really did like. And I will continue with these books here. This is the second collection. So that's all for now. And I have to thank you and for listening and watching. Goodbye.